Hey folks, it's just another lazy Saturday, kind of quiet Saturday. Um, Quite a bit earlier than when I usually record my videos. And I saw that latest comment on my last video. I'll probably make a response to that eventually, but it's day 97 of Nofap. Got through another week, and so I'll sort of update on, how life is after day 90, and maybe like last week, what's gone on, and maybe some of my emotions, if you will, my perspective on a lot of on life as it's kind of changed a bit. But let me see. For one thing, discussing the last week, let's say, and sort of how that led me into making that sort of philosophical, musing kind of video. So I had to deal with some like sort of interpersonal conflict with a coworker who um, made some complaints to my immediate supervisors, saying that I had like disappeared in the middle of a process we were working on, and saying that I took too long of a lunch, that sort of deal. And um, it's the kind of stuff that like I feel I could work on, but at the same time, I feel like I'm being held to a sort of standard that I wouldn't be held to if I was kind of part of the clique, if you will. The first thing, it's just a matter of working on communication, and I sigh because it's kind of annoying. It's annoying to me because I did send the guy a Slack message saying, hey, this is where I'm at. I went over here to, work on this that we were supposed to do, because he had basically disappeared at a time when usually we would already be expected to be over at this other lab getting that process done. And I just been like, okay, thinking to myself, I'm not going to sit around here and wait, because I know that if he comes back and it's, whatever time it is, 8 a.m., he's going to try to make me feel like I'm the one holding things down or slowing things down. So I'm going to go over there, and I did Slack him saying I'm going to be over there, but, you know, apparently it's this whole thing where I got to like verbally communicate to a third person so that, if he comes back, then that third person will be like, oh, this is where he went. Something of that nature. It's annoying and it's kind of dumb, but it's something that I'll have to deal with and work on. The second one, the taking too long of a lunch, um, a bit of hypocrisy there, because you see, again, I was talking about being part of a clique, and I usually go back to the lab after lunch whenever they are going back, because then we can start working again, especially if they're training me on the process. And I'll like look over and be like, okay, like, hey, are we going back now? But apparently, like I said, again, if you're part of their little clique or their little club, um, you can let things slide. But in my case, it's something I'm gonna have to accept and work within for now, until I get myself to a much better spot financially. That I'm just gonna have to be like, okay, it's 12:30, had lunch starting at 12, going back to the lab right now. And if they want to drag their feet on things, then that'll be on them. But I'll be the one in the lab at 12:30, and they'll have to deal with that. So, um, again, this is why that video that I made was made. Why I had the perspective on things, and to sort of roll into responding to that. This is why, look, I don't think having wealth is evil, or wanting that sort of stuff is evil or so. And I'm not really looking at it from and maybe I didn't make this clear, but I'm not looking at it from a so what, or, not caring about it so much. But it's sort of like, I guess, what is wealth to me, and what is freedom to me, and things of that nature. Because the way I've seen life for, like, let's say especially the last like year and a half, and then I've even seen it within my family, it's been like sort of like, um, if they didn't have all these debts, or if I didn't have all these debts, um, and I could just walk away, or they could just walk away from a bad situation they were in, or that I was in, like, would they have walked away? Would I have walked away? That sort of thing. Like, and it's so much of what gets people caught in that sort of cycle of just stress and anxiety and burning yourself out. And I don't know where a lot of other folks, who watch my content are at financially, or where they're at in life or so. But um, I feel like, if you go through enough of life, you get to a point where you realize sort of the cost versus the benefits. And you know what, if it's worth it to you, go pursue it. Do what thou wilt. That's your will, then pursue it. But for me, it's like, if I could get myself completely out of debt, have enough passive income that could cover all my, cost of living, such that if I just felt like, oh, I don't want to be in this toxic situation anymore, dealing with people who are, conniving and backstabbing and judgmental and all that kind of stuff, very cliquey or whatever, that I could just walk away and it wouldn't affect my life at all. That would be where I would consider, being wealthy. Not that owning a bunch of land, or having a nice house or cars or whatever is not something that I would ever like to have. I definitely looked into cost of land in different areas of the country. Just being able to build a small house out there or two. Maybe one that I would just, use as my main residence, and the other to be sort of if I was going into sort of a spiritual retreat or magical working or whatever. I just wanted to go and chill out there, meditate, or maybe even like a hunting lodge or something like that, But I wouldn't want to do that using other people's money, aka taking out loans, getting into debt, getting into a cycle of, once again having to go back and work in those bad situations because I need that money. And I wouldn't want to let sort of like it seems like the perceptions in society these days as to like what that's supposed to look like be what I, would be pursuing. Like I don't need a Lamborghini or a Mercedes-Benz or a Tesla Roadster or anything like that to be satisfied with the car I have, It gets me from point A to point B. It does the job that I need to do. It could be a 5 or 10-year-old car. And as long as it runs consistently and nicely, and I take care of it, I do my maintenance on it, and it transports me around as I need to be transported around, then it's good enough for me. It doesn't require me to have sort of a really flashy looking car. Same thing with a house. Maybe I have something of a monkish sort of leaning in my personality, but I don't need to have that sort of stuff. And that's why it's for me. Like that's why I'm so obsessed with getting out of debt, and eventually building out like a stock portfolio, getting other sources of income, that sort of deal. That's why I would want that money, just so like I can have my peace of mind. I mean, Aaron Clare, he has this, I think it's a course or a book. I'll look it up. Maybe it's an essay. But it's just saying, it's like this expression, that's the title of it, that's sanity is the future of wealth. And I'm honestly of the mindset to agree with that. I would rather have peace of mind. I would rather not have to deal with somebody, barking at me, in the corporate America or the corporate world. It's one thing to go do that if you're part of like an elite military organization or something where there's a grander purpose to it than just, making more money or making somebody else wealthy, But, I'm at the point like, I'm just having to sort of keep my perspective on things and be patient, work hard, tighten up on the things where I might be a little bit loose on, and keep going and keep aware that, hey, I am making progress, and here's where things are at, and here's how they're moving forward. So anyways, that's my Nofap video update for the day, for the week. And maybe if I feel like making something a bit deeper, I'll probably make that in just a bit. But coming up on 10 minutes, so I'm gonna end the recording now, and see you folks around. Bye bye.